Hello, hi, good morning. This is the Morning YAP. I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I also help you make the intangible tangible by releasing the entanglements that you've placed upon your voice. And I work in voice identity, mindset, social justice, all that jazz. We're going to talk about AI today, but I'm going to have a little bit of a different spin on it. Okay, so I get that AI is a polarizing topic right now. I get that, a lot of people are like, it's all or nothing, except that, it's been here. But I want to give you a little bit of a different spin today, other than the, y'all got to stop controlling people. I find it really interesting, and I've advocated for this too, right? Let's learn how to use the AI so that we can, make it into what we want to make it. And I keep seeing online, people well, we got to learn how to use it so that we can reform it and we can have regulations and da-da-da-da-da. And what I want to say about that is, while yes, letting it be free market is also not working, I think that a large part of the restriction and the reform of AI is tied into white supremacy and capitalism and the way that we currently exist. And I'm currently on the kick of let's explore how we're reinforcing all of these systems and all of these problems that we say we're against, but we're actually reinforcing, right? And so I find that very interesting that it's we need to control AI instead of the billionaires, or we need to reform AI instead of the billionaires. Instead of Congress, they don't know what they're doing, so we need to reform it. And once again, I think we all know the ills of AI, the data centers and stuff, but I will also say that a lot of those are false equivalencies, and there's a lot of other things that y'all don't want to give up that are doing harm to the planet. And so your argument kind of becomes a little wishy-washy. Now, the other argument I'm seeing, particularly from white social justice ally type folks, is but they're putting the data centers in the minority spaces and the marginalized spaces, and that is just so bad. And of course, I'm also seeing that from the quote-unquote marginalized minority people. However, this is just a reminder that Black people, brown people, marginalized people, whatever that means, are not a monolith. And there are actually pro-AI people in those communities, and I feel there's this insistence of the white savior, the white grief, the white complex that is happening within the AI conversation. Because they're building these data centers in the minority spaces, it has to be bad, and we're going to save them from that. And I don't love that, because people that I didn't expect to be pro AI, a Stacey Abrams, are, and have very legitimate reasons to want to train kids and us, frankly, on how to use it in an ethical sense. And I think that so much of this argument is so black and white. Don't use it. It'll force the billionaires to stop producing it. That's not true. That's not true. Look, Target's still around, boo-boos, right? It's still around. And so I want to invite that there is some sort of conversation around the white saviorism that's happening in the anti-AI space, and also how, yes, the environmental cost is great, and I think we should talk about that more, and I think we should figure out ways that isn't affecting marginalized communities. And I think that there's a larger conversation to be held about why y'all are so against the playing field being evened. And I know that like AI doesn't create the perfect content. I know that y'all are, but graphic designers, y'all were mad about Canva too. Musicians, y'all were mad about synths too. You were mad about GarageBand. You were mad, fear is always the first emotion. I talked about this on Deconstruction Junction yesterday, but fear is always the first thing that we fall into. And I think that's understandable. And I think that we can have a conversation about the intersections that are at play here that are often ignored in the binary of pro-AI, anti-AI. That's all. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Abolish ICE. Ceasefire now in our hearts and in our minds. Make good trouble, do good work. I love y'all hardcore, and joy is our revolution. I'll see you next time. Toodles.